everyone, I am Lady Stars and Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages for May 21st through the 29th. There's a new moon coming in this week. But before we go into all of that, oh my, there's so much to talk about. So, this is going to be a little bit of a long one. If you need to, pause it, turn it off. Get your smokes if you smoke, get your ashtray, get your drink, get settled, get coffee, get settled, because we got a lot to talk about on this one, and I'm warning you in advance. Go ahead and hit the pause button and come on back, because there's so much to go on. And they just keep giving me more and more information, so I just keep going with what I'm getting. Now, yes. There is a porthole. Yes, it is opening, and on the 21st it is supposed to be closing. It has been open for 3 days. However, it's not completely closed. And what I mean by that is I'm being shown by Spirit that basically, even if you couldn't necessarily get to that place right now to go through that porthole, there's going to be so much work going on that you'll still be able to get to that kind of energy. Just not as quickly, not as easy. You're going to have to work a little harder for it. But however, it will still be around for you to get through. I'm being shown there are portholes everywhere. If you know how to become open-minded enough, calm enough, connect well enough, you will eventually get there. Because I'm just being shown portholes everywhere, and especially with trees, like the holes in the trees. No matter what, it's like I'm just finding them everywhere I go. And that's just one of the ways they point stuff out to me. Now, yes, the energy has been coming in, and it has been rather harsh. But that has to do with what's going on. Anytime there's a major shift in energy, the more sensitive you are, the more you tend to feel it the farther out. And the more harsh it tends to get until you manage to get over that hump, basically. And if it's not that it's the more sensitive you are, sometimes it's the more newer you are to being an empath, to starting to understand the gift of it, to start to come into your understanding of this consciousness. Sometimes when you're not as experienced, you haven't been doing it as long, or you're not as sensitive, you might not notice it quite as early. And there is nothing wrong with that. That's just you evolving. That's just you learning and getting there. However, I am being told that if you don't make it through the porthole right now, there is still abilities, it's still possible for you to achieve what this porthole is about. Now, the thing is, there's been all kinds of symptoms with this energy shift, and that is normal. Headaches, nausea, your stomach ache, the nausea, the headaches, the ears ringing, depending on what parts of your chakras are being worked on. It could even be lower back pain, it could be gas, it could be nightmares, it could be dreams, headaches, heat. Pressure in general, it comes with the energy shift. And the reason for that is because it's moving into a higher vibration, which just means it's cleaning out illness. It's cleaning out more negative, lower vibrations. The thing is, I wanted to explain that as I go into everything else they've been trying to make me understand, so that I can make this make sense to you and be helpful. This energy shift right now that you're feeling is not necessarily going to end. It will move into a more higher, more positive, angelic feeling if you're getting through the negativity. Those lower vibrations are coming out of you. If those releases are being made, is what I'm being told. This is more of a numeric shift, like numbers, like people speak of angel numbers all the time. And when I was on my way out here, I was given 7, 7, not 77, 7, and then a 7. So doubles of 7, which is like the divine magic, basically. And I was given that 4 times just from my house to my studio, which is in my yard. And then I was given 10 twice. So, I mean, the numbers are coming in so rapidly, but what I want you to understand, what they're explaining to me is, they show me water, and within the water, I am seeing what would look like the matrix. And numbers are just popping up and changing, and popping up and changing in like digital form. And what it is the way they're explaining it is, it's a numeric shift, which would also mean that also has to do with the higher you're getting closer to the creator, to that creator energy, the universal cosmos, however you want to see it, God. That's not up to me to tell you how to see things. But numbers come into that angelic realm and come into that higher, closer to that highest level of vibration. And when the numbers start shifting and changing, that's a shift within the cosmos, within the matrix itself. But what they're showing me it is, numbers are coming and changing like digitally, but within water. Okay, now let's come back to what I just said, within water. This is a numeric shift, meaning like your angels are starting to change things. The numbers are constantly shifting and changing. So this has to do with reaction. Action and reaction, action and reaction. Right now, your actions are highly important. This is why it is so important to get to that love, get to that peaceful, get to the mercy within things. Okay? Because these reactions are bringing the angels into trying to move it up into numbers of a higher shift, for a higher vibration. Not just for you, but for everybody, for the world itself. But they're showing me it in water. And this means the water element is coming into a higher power than the other elements. So anything that's dealing with that water element, our emotional selves, is kind of more like, that's what that feeling was of within that energy shift, where you feel like you're kind of in a vice. This is you starting to clean out those negative energies within your water energy, okay? As well as the world around you. Because this numeric shift is leading the water element into the highest ranking element right now. It is going to be it's going to be doing this for quite some time. And that has a lot to do with the North Node, which I'll get back to in a minute. Because the North Node is bringing in that courage of the lion. The courage of the lion, but the passion of the lion and that child heart. It's bringing a new level of love back. And with it now being in Leo, it is also bringing about, for the next year, those numbers to start to be evolving, start to be moving up. That numeric shift, that cosmic shift is coming in within more or less the matrix. And it is lifting everything up into that new way. But it's coming, making water rank kind of higher than those other elements, while it shifts back into a balance. Because it's bringing out the cleansing through the water element. That's the best that I can explain it for how they bring it to me. They show me also a ripple. This would be that cause and effect that I'm talking about right now. Because what they show me is like if you have like a bowl of water and you just tap your finger into it, the ripple happens. Cause and effect, but within that water element. So I'm being shown it's a ripple effect, and the closer you get to that peace, that love, that mercy, that joyful release and relief, the less and stressful you're going to find, the more you're moving up into what you're supposed to be doing. Because this is about releasing of the pressure. Releasing the pressure of what's human, which isn't necessarily positive, into soul. Getting rid of where human isn't exactly the most positive. This has to do with upgrades you are receiving. This has to do with attunements and calibrations you are receiving. Both chakra related and psychic related. This is why those psychic abilities are so high right now. And why you just seem like you're more in tune. Because you're getting that attunement. You're getting calibrated to go, mosquito, to go with where you are. Because none of us are in the same spot. We're all changing. We're always changing, and all of us have our own separate individual path. This is why our journey is ours. It's not anybody else's. It's ours. And it can only be attuned and calibrated to us and where we are. Now, the other thing I'm being shown is, or I'm being reminded, is they're reminding you, you know, that they love you and that they want you to understand that. They want you to get into that loving, soulful, positive way. I don't know how else to put it. I'll place it on Facebook and Twitter later on today, because for the last 4 days they just keep playing a song in my head, and it's a country song, because they're like, this is kind of that energy for what humans would acknowledge. Of what is kind of coming up into. And the song, I can't remember the name of it, but I'll find it and I'll place it on Facebook in case you know or don't know what I'm talking about. It's a country song, and it starts off with, in case you didn't know, I'm crazy about you. I can't live without you. But this is how Spirit is trying to remind us of how important we are, as well as how much we don't understand about love and how much we don't understand about time. And this is why they keep putting this to me. Because Spirit is telling me also, we have heard the saying many times that you're not a human trying to have a soulful experience. You're a soul having a human experience. Well, they're telling me that's wrong. At least right now, maybe with this shift. They're telling me that's wrong, because the human itself is a body, is a vessel. You are a soul, period. And you're having a soulful experience. End of discussion. The human body is a vessel, and that's what it is there for. However, within the human body, in the human experience, we can get clogged up in a lot of negative energy. And we don't realize it. When you look at the idea of a vessel or a vial, like a little vial that you would keep oil in or water in, or even, you know, whatever, like a little vial of liquid medicine. Basically, if you had like a clear quartz and you pretended that the clear quartz represented the soul, and you put it in that vial full of water, you still have that clear quartz. You can still see it. It's pretty, and it's within the water, and it's fine. And if you shake it up, you can still see it, and beautiful. But when we start to add our worries, our stress, our negativity, our doubts, that's kind of like sewage that gets stuck in the vial with us. So our vessel gets clogged up with funky negativity, and it becomes separated. It tries to separate from that sewage, from that negativity. And this is what that energy shift is feeling like for many of us. It's like a combustion of gas trying to release so that that soul can separate and stay positive, stay light, stay, you know, just full of life. Because all that negativity, all those stressful worries, all that, you know, doubt, fear, anger is all negativity that kind of just makes soul heavy. Okay? And this is why they're saying the more you understand, yes, you're a soul that's living in this vessel of a human, and you are living a human life. You do have human responsibilities. But stop looking at it from that level. Stop looking at it from you're a soul, you're a human having a soul experience, or that you are a soul having a human experience. They're not the same. You are a soul. This has to do with evolving, to do with that attunement, with ascending, with moving into that more positive, higher vibration, and realizing, end of the day, I'm still a soul. See, because what they're showing me is Father Time. And the time in spirit it doesn't work the same like it does for humans. Time and spirit, there is no forward, there is no backwards, there's no past, there's no future. It's just time. And we can't really grasp that unless we're on that psychic level of being able to travel into those dimensions through our psychic ability, basically. But spirit comes over and they're like, I loved you now, just like I did before you were born. And I'll love you now just like I will when you're dead and when you're here with me. This is what I'm saying about that song of In Case You Didn't Know. Okay? They're trying to explain it's not father time. Honey, right now is soul time. So don't let the sewage of all that negative stuff and those lower vibrations keep you from experiencing soul time. I hope any of that makes sense because I'm doing the best I can to make that more understandable to you. Now, on an individual level of what they're giving me for this week itself, for May 21st through the 29th, through this new moon, which is in Gemini. Oh, Gemini is done gone crazy. But I'm going to get there in a minute. We are being given iron. Now, iron also speaks to us of Mars, of the planet Mars, and all that Mars represents, as well as the masculine energy. But iron also speaks to us on a spiritual level of the natural truth, the natural order of truth, the natural law of truth. We're being given iron. I'm tasting it is how they're giving it to me. And then they're giving me the smell of like a permanent. So, but for me, I know, I'm sorry, it's a mosquito. But for me, I know that also speaks to us. If they're making me smell what's making me say permanent, they're saying, look at the natural permanent truths. Look at the natural permanent order of truth, of order of law, of truth within iron. This is what they're showing us. However, they're also reminding us with iron, for some of us, that might have to do with your iron intake, for your meds, your vitamins, your food. So that might also touch space for you. But like I said, it also speaks to us of Mars, and it also speaks to us of our physical strength in general. Now, I'm also being shown different gods, but this makes sense because what they're showing me is a Pegasus, but they're showing me a Pegasus as if it was like a knight in shining armor with like a warrior on it. You know how like the knights in shining armor have their horses that they would have in, you know, protective gear as well. I'm seeing a Pegasus within that protective gear with a warrior with it. And this actually has a lot to do with courage. It has to do with belief, with rising above the situations, as we know, with wisdom, with humility, and with what our boundaries are. So the warrior is working with the Pegasus, the horse and the rider, is what I'm getting in this. Is what they're giving me, as well as this week. And I'm being given a lot of green energy, as well as turquoise energy. Green energy usually deals with growth, change. It also deals with, because they just given it to me a couple times. It deals with growth, change. It also can deal with your psychic attunements. It can deal with nature as well. And the light blue turquoise is coming in, and that has to do with our communication. It has to do with our counseling skills. It has to do with, basically within that counseling area of healing. But I'm also being given the wolf, and I'm being shown the wolf as it runs beside us, meaning like we are one of the pack. It is there protecting of us. It's watching over us. It runs with us. And I'm shown the eagle, and I'm shown its wings spread out. And this is speaking to us of finding that proper flow and stream of power. You know how like they fly with their wings. They're reminding us how to spread our wings and how to fly properly. Find that power. I'm being also given heather as a plant. I'm being given heather, and heather stands for the flow. No, I'm sorry. Heather stands for, it's the flower of passionate love. And I'm also being given roses. But heather also deals with portholes within to like the fairy realm. So that also speaks to us of these other portholes and realms. And I am being shown 2 runes, but I will come back to them because I didn't throw the rune cast. I may check with them later this week and see if another one needs to come out, but I will bring these up in this one. Like I said, it's going to be a long one. And I'll come back to them when I'm all done. For astrology, to go along with all that information that Spirit has just given us, astrology, let me just say, Gemini has taken over. Gemini is in overdrive, okay? Gemini has Venus in it. It has Uranus in it. It has, no, I'm saying Aries. It has the sun in it. Later this week, it will have the moon in it. I'm speaking of Gemini taking over. Gemini being the one in power this week. Gemini has the sun in it. It has Sirius in it. Later this week, it has the moon in it, and it has Mars in it. And this conversation with these 4, after the moon gets in here, is kind of like a conversation with all in one way or another. And Gemini is the messenger. Gemini is the one that shuttles the messages back and forth. It's ruled by Mercury, and I'm being shown Mercury as well. So it has a lot to do with our communication skills or lack of them within this week, as well as how to properly communicate. Are we communicating, again, and are we actually getting the whole picture, or are we jumping the gun and going into conclusions? As we go through all of the different levels of where the planets are. Depending on what house that is that these are in will make the difference for you. But I am being shown basically that Gemini is just in overdrive, but it's really talking to Pisces and it's really talking to Aries, as well as it does have some conversations with Jupiter, which is in Libra. Now, I'm also being shown for this week, again, we have the full moon, which again, not full moon, the new moon, which again is in Gemini. It sits at the same spot, off by like a digit. And I don't mean a degree, I mean a digit behind the degree is like 1.03 or whatever. It's a digit. But they're basically sitting right on top of each other. The sun and the moon are sitting directly on top of each other when the new moon hits. This is seriously water energy talking to your core and questioning your core and bringing up these questions so that that new moon can bring about those new beginnings. Because it's sitting in Gemini. So that's the messages right there. Are you being honest with yourself? I've been asking for weeks, what side of Neptune are you on? Because you're about to really find out where you stand within your own truths. And if you're not honest with yourself, the only one you're hurting is you, baby. Now, the challenges for this week is going to have a lot to do with the North Node. And as I go into everything, but I'm going to also remind us, the North Node is just moved into Leo. Its opposite side, which would be our past, would be in Aquarius. Leo in the North Node is talking to us of coming into that higher vibration of love, compassion, service, of bringing out what it is we love with our childlike personality. You know, I said the other day, I love to dismount. I'm like, nah. When I finish a conversation, I mean, I'm just me. I mean, you got to be you. And if that's part of letting your child out and thrive, so what? Let it out. Let yourself be fun. That doesn't mean that you're irresponsible. That just means that you're enjoying life while you're in it. Plain and simple. And this is what the North Node is supposed to be doing in Leo. It's reminding us of how good life can be, how good life should be, how good we should be to one another. How it's bringing up all of that courage to be that, to bring it into our life. However, the opposite, which is the South Node, is in Aquarius. And Aquarius is the unpredictable one. Okay? The Aquarius is the unpredictable one, and it also speaks of our independence to ourselves. And it being in the South Node, it's speaking to us of our past, of what we kind of need to overcome so that the North Node can become what we're trying to evolve to. So it's reminding us of where we kind of went overboard and things that didn't work out so well for us, basically. And that's what this conversation is. The way the Spirit is making me understand the North Node is until you get on the right side of the North Node and you're working into that compassionate side. It's kind of like the dragon, its head and its tail. Like being smacked with the head and the tail. Fire of the dragon, or being smacked with the tail of the dragon. Because that's what the North Node stands for. And the South Node together. It's the head and the tail of the dragon coming together to create the new. From learning from your past. Now, again, as we go into the challenges, the opposition for the week is Mars in Gemini. Is speaking to Saturn in Sagittarius. I told you we have Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Now we've got our communication that is also speaking to our Mars, our power, our passion, our masculine energy. It's our warrior. It's speaking to that communication, which is in Gemini and seeing all sides. But it's also speaking to Saturn, which is taking those chances within boundaries. Are you letting your warrior automatically, I'm not taking the chances here, or are you willing to take the chances and realize that it's not easy always to open up and take the chance? However, maybe we should. This is something you might want to evaluate throughout the week. We have Pallas and Venus, which is in Aries, also in opposition with Jupiter, which is in Libra. These are challenges. These means this energy is not going to come as easily for us this week. You have to work at this, which means Pallas is Athena. Pallas is Athena. She is the warrior goddess as well as the goddess of strategy, because that's what she is. She strategizes what is the smart play here. And she's speaking to Venus in Aries. Aries is a starter point. Aries is bold, impulsive, but doesn't necessarily always think it all the way through before it starts acting. And Venus is all about love. And what does our emotions, our senses tell us about this? So Pallas, strategy, warrior goddess, Venus, our senses, and Aries, just bold and impressive and ready to go and start something, is speaking to Jupiter. This could be a positive or a negative thing, but it's challenging. These might be that the warrior princess of Athena is speaking to our Venus in areas that might be touchy. Okay? And Jupiter is going to make that grow because there's less in there. Okay? And usually that's going to deal with a relationship of some sort because it's dealing with it being still in Libra. Now, we also have the Sun in Gemini will be speaking with Lilith in Sagittarius. And on the new moon, which is the 25th, which is Thursday, all of this energy is going to be built pretty much up throughout the whole week. Some of it is going to stop on Thursday and take a shift, because that's when the new moon hits. Sun in Gemini all week is speaking to Lilith. Lilith is our dark moon. She holds on to the resentment. She holds on to the anger. She holds on to what hurt you and wants to know why it hurt you and wants to solve it and have revenge. However, she's in Sagittarius, which makes her very spontaneous. Makes her, that revenge might just come up. That anger might just come up. That word vomit might just come up if you're not getting on the side of love and peace and mercy. And with Sun, it's speaking to your core. It's speaking to questioning that core. Okay? Within that communication. So your communication skills are key right now because this is a challenging area. It's also going to hit, like I said, on the 25th, which is on the new moon, with the moon being there. So that's going to hit into your emotions. Now, don't forget, Aries also carries Ceres, which is going to speak to us of cause and effect anyway. It's going to speak to us of karma as well. And what is nurturing or not nurturing for us. Even though it's not necessarily in opposition with the Lilith, it's still hovering close enough to pick up some of that energy. As well as Mars is in there. You got Sun, Moon, Mars, Gemini, all speaking to Lilith. She's going to be really talking about some shit you're not letting go of. Some shit you're not... that your warrior is still pissed off about, basically, the revenge and stuff, and she's trying to work that out, but you're going to have that challenge of working that out, so that you can get to that peace, that love, and that mercy. It's called forgiveness. That's what love is, mercy. Sorry, I know some of us don't like to hear that, but that's what it is. And then the other challenges, which is the most known one that everybody's been talking about, is the sun has been squaring the north node. The sun is your core speaking to the north node. But if it's also speaking to the north node, it's also speaking to the south node, which means it's squaring both of them. It's squaring the head and the tail of the dragon. Because that's what the north node is. Your core itself. And again, on the new moon, the 25th is Thursday, is when the moon is there with the sun. Your emotions, everything that is within that sensitivity level to you within that moon energy, as well as your core, your shine, what it is that you're known for or questioned about yourself for within that sun energy, is coming into looking at the north node and everything that is compassionate about the Leo, about the lion, courage and heart. Okay? Bringing out that service, that passion, the compassion, but it's also questioning your past of Aquarius. Where did you jump the gun? Where were you, where was Aquarius just boldly enough to be like, let me just tell you all about this and go after whatever it was for the good or bad? Because if it's in the past, most likely the reason you're reminding it is it's something that didn't work out, something that burned you, something that you chose to do that kind of blew up in your face, and you're getting both views of this. And that's why I said it's about mercy. It's about forgiveness, about love, so that you can step into that new level of energy. Because that's going to be there all year, period. That north node is. But you're going to have other things talking to it throughout the year. Now, it's going to stay a square, which is a challenge. It's not comfortable energy. That energy is going to stay square with the moon once it enters into that until Thursday on the 25th, and that square disappears on Friday. Okay? And this is when a lot of that energy will start to change, but that doesn't mean that this energy, that numeric changes are stopping. They're still going to be going on with that water being in the strength of all the elements. The top element right now is still going to be going on for quite a while. But this is that learning experience to get us over that. Now we also have in the challenges this week, you have Mars speaking to Chiron. Mars again is in Gemini. Mars is your warrior. It is your passion. It is your fire. It is speaking to Mercury in Gemini all by itself before it starts speaking to Chiron. Because Mercury is all about the communication. Gemini is about the two faces, seeing both sides of things, the shuttling. It is also speaking, Mars, Gemini, is speaking to Chiron in Pisces. Chiron is your emotional, wounded healer. It's the one who has trouble healing itself. And this is what I'm getting at. These are those areas we have trouble healing ourselves is coming up. And Pisces is then, Chiron and Pisces then is going strictly over to speak to Sagittarius and Saturn. Where are those boundaries, those rules? Where is this challenge that we've set up for ourselves that we're so used to doing within our boundaries and our rules really not working? So where is it that we need to take this chance and go into a new direction, even though it's not exactly the most comfortable direction sometimes. You've got Neptune also speaking to Lilith, which is also in Sagittarius, and you've got Neptune in Pisces as well, also speaking to Aries, which has Pallas in it, Uranus in it, and Venus in it. So this is your magic is going directly to Aries in the sense of your inventive, your creative, your strategy, your sensitivity, speaking to where is it that your love is, your fantasy, your magic. Or what side of Neptune are you on? Are you creating? Or are you accidentally living in what destroyed you and keeping you there? Then we have Jupiter also is speaking to Aries, Pallas, and Venus. So Jupiter is going to make that Neptune's and Pisces speaking to Aries just blow up into abundance and give it so much more strength because Jupiter is like maximizing it. So are you learning and going in a positive way, or are you really allowing it to pull you in the wrong way and you're completely getting off track? This is the kind of things you're going to be seeing. And this has to do with those headaches. That has to do with those shifts of energy that you're feeling that's, making your chakras balance. That's dealing with your attunements. That's dealing with your calibration. Are you moving up? Are you staying where you're at? And your chakras are not getting cleaned. Then we have almost done for unpredictable energies. You've got the North Node, which is in Leo, speaking to Chiron. It's speaking to your wounded healer. Your wounded healer is being questioned of your compassion. Your wounded healer is being questioned of where the courage is, where the lion heart is. Then you've got Jupiter speaking to Neptune. Again, Jupiter is maximizing and strengthening Neptune's magic of, are you creating for the positive? Or are you creating from your own darkness? Basically. Mars is also, these are unpredictable. This could go however your free will chooses to take it, baby. Mars in Gemini is speaking to Juno, which is in Capricorn, which is right there with Pluto. Mars, your warrior, your passion, your fire, is speaking to your communication skills and speaking to, are you willing to put that sacrifice in, to put that commitment in to the foundation of what it is you're creating? Are you doing it? Only you know that. Then it speaks to us of Lilith in Sagittarius speaking directly to Mercury. Like I said, there's a lot of communication going on this week. Lots of communication going on this week. I'm being told for the runes. Like I said, I was shown the runes and then I brought the book so I can double check. But I was shown first off, Jebo. Jebo looks like a X. Jebo is the gift. It is the gifting price. It is exchange and it is fire. It focuses on hospitality and generosity. Things that are given and things that are received. It speaks to us also, it may indicate, someone who has somehow feel that they are being controlled or kept as a hostage within a situation or by people. This means if you're feeling like you're controlled or you're kept as a hostage, there's something you're not letting go of. There's something you're not facing the truth of. Something you're holding on to, which is keeping you in a negative way. We have control over a lot of things in life. You got to give that up to the best and know that the magic of the powers that be are going to make it better, but you have to manifest it to be better. If you're stuck worrying and constantly feeling that you're in hostage situation or being controlled by others, then you're giving them the power. Take your power back, baby. It's that simple. It can also reveal to us the special gift or a magical exchange. It's one or the other. So it's hospitality and generosity, or hospitality versus hostage is what we're looking at. And that has to do with where you on your evolution within yourself. Sacrifice and generosity. It is in a sense marriage. It is the marriaging of the gift, the gifting price, receiving something that is unasked for. It is the gift and its obligations. It is like I said, the hospitality or the hostage. It is taken and given energy. It is shared energy. It is serenity. It is, serene ecstasy. But it can also speak to us of sexual magic itself. And it speaks to us of sacrifice and agreements, honoring of contracts, and receiving graciously. But most of all, Jebo reminds us that the fact that we have a life, the fact that we were put back in the vessel as a human to experience again, that's a gift. That's a gift, and don't take it lightly, because time flies. And before you know it, it's gone. It's that simple. I was also shown, let me double check. I'm giving you the pieces that I'm being given. Uraz. It kind of looks like an N, but they're not completely even. I am being told from Uraz it has a strong connection with health matters, and the presence of a healer may also be indicated by the symbol. It also brings out an outpouring of our vital strength, strength that burns away the weaknesses. So we're finding our inner strength to burn away the weaknesses. Like I said, they're asking us to find that love, find the peace, find that mercy, find the forgiveness, so that we can move forward. But I am being told by Thorisol, if you can see it, yeah, it speaks to us that you might be finding that this energy is coming through hostile and aggressive ways. But it also indicates the power of stunning breakthroughs. Because what they're doing is they're just pointing out specific parts. Okay, where's the last one? Because I knew there was one more, but I wasn't sure if I was supposed to hit one of those. Because when the book gets hot on me, I know that I'm being given information. I'm being told under Waz, which looks like an M. I'm being told also that right now you're dealing with partnerships, give and take, adjustments, the need of others, meeting those joint efforts, teamwork, running in tandem. Dynamic harmony is what they are asking of us. And lastly, as soon as I can get back, because the other one, which is speaking to us of understanding from a deeper view, from like an overall, for the week we were also given Nathis. It also looks like an X, but it's sideways. Nathis is speaking to us of determination, endurance, and survival. It's the need to de-stress the fire. It's the presence of the situation sometimes that must be worked through. It speaks to us of our karmic obstacles and overcoming those. It reminds us of the great change that awakens from within us, of change of powers that we did not know we already had. It's awakening to realizing we were more powerful than we thought we were. It reminds us that most likely it's showing us of people working through our own hard struggles to evolve. And it's resistance and friction. It speaks to us of resistance. When we resist, we're not moving up. We're not moving forward. And this is speaking of trying to let go of that resistance, to warm the fire, to warm the cold. Resistance strengthens losing that resistance strengthens the will, so the fire from within can burn. Basically, it's the need to banish and de-stress the cold, but to warm the fire. It changes stress into strength. This is one of those times we're talking about changing our stress into strength so that we can move up. It speaks to us of self-reliance through our own positive action and the need of dealing with those circumstances. It speaks to us of the ruin of overcoming our karma and our skills through our survival and self-preservation. meeting those necessary requirements so the manifestation can be created from within its absence. So we're moving up. We're meeting those necessary requirements so that the manifestation we want can actually start to happen, because we've learned from our past. Every challenge is just a measure of one's hidden strength. Every challenge, baby, is just a measure of one's hidden strengths. It speaks to us of breaking our addictive patterns, as well as realizing what it is that we thought we lacked already was part of us and who we are. Just like I said, a vessel is the human. The soul is inside. You just got to get rid of some of the sewage that unfortunately we allow to get stuck inside. And then shine. I love you. Hugs and kisses in the wind, everybody. See you next week.